Hi, it's Anne here, and today's video is my weekly Shop My Stash video, and this is week number 17, I think. The last week that I did this was 2 weeks ago, because how I'm doing this is I was going through every item in my collection. Certain categories I was picking like 2 items, like 2 eyeliners. Other categories it was just 1 item, like bronzer, blush, and highlight, but you'll see I have 2 blushes here because I had 4 blushes left and I decided to pick 2 blushes for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to pick the last 2 single blushes that I have for the last 2 weeks, and then this series, as it exists right now, will be done because I've gone through the majority of my collection. The only thing I didn't go through was all of my eyeliners and all of my single eyeshadows, like single packaged eyeshadows, not singles that are magnetic. So yeah, this is last week's picks, or the last 2 weeks of picks. It went really well. I was using the nude sticks as a base, and I thought that actually worked as a good eyeshadow base. Concealer was not a bad shade for me. I thought it might have been too dark. It was fine. Same with this foundation. I thought it might have been too dark. It was fine. I'm still not sure about this foundation. I'm kind of on the fence of keeping these. Everything else was pretty good. I'm pretty sure this will be a declutter because I felt like it was hard to get product out of that. And I also feel like while I enjoyed both of these blushes, they might get decluttered for my collection because I just think if I'm trying to whittle things down, these 2 would probably go. And they're fairly new-ish in my collection that I'm comfortable passing them on to somebody else. So yeah, so that's this past week. Oh, and this was pretty good too, although I can tell that like it's very crumbly and I'm not going to be able to use this before it totally falls apart, but I did enjoy using it. I'm contemplating taking this back to like my family home as a setting powder there. I was there this past week and I totally forgot a powder, and I felt like this would have been really good, and I do spend summers there mostly, so having like a nice just like translucent setting powder I think would be really handy to have when I'm up there. So yeah, so that's this past 2 weeks picks. Let's get into the next 2 weeks of picks, I guess. Okay, we're gonna do bottom up again. I think I did bottom up last time because the impetus for this week is these are the last 2 blushes that I have not used in my like single blush thing. I technically have 2 other single blushes that are in a magnetic pan. But the first one here is the Milani. This is Rose Doro number 2, and I just wanted to try this one because I thought I'd like this shade a little bit better than, is it Luminoso that everybody likes? Let's do a swatch. I did swatches of these last week. This one's definitely very warm. I thought it was going to be a bit pinkier, rosier based off of the name, but it's definitely pretty orangey, pretty warm. And then the other one is a mini. This is from Benefit, and this is in the shade Terra. I kind of wish I'd taken this back. I got this from Shoppers Drug Mart, and it was an online order, and it came busted. So I did repress it, but I think it's Benefit. They have these little duos. I've seen them in store. They're kind of tiny. They're smaller than I thought, but they had a duo of this, and I want to say Hula, or maybe it was at Christmas time. I think it was at Christmas time. They had a trio. That's what it was. They had a trio of Terra, Hula, and I want to say Cookie, and I was like, oh, I really kind of want to get that, but I already have that blush, and so I was kind of disappointed. So yeah, that's that one right there. It's a little bit more reddish. I think I'm going to really like this one for summertime. I did not play with it nearly as much as I should have last year, and I got it July last year, so we're definitely going to have to play with it a lot more this year. So now we're on to bronzer, and again, I've used all of these bronzers, so there's nothing new here to use. I think I will go with, let's go with the Over one. I like that the Over one has a combo of like matte and shimmer, although it's super pigmented, like way more pigmented than it needs to be. But I do like it. So there's a swatch of it right there on my hand. It actually is like fairly close in tone with that blush, which is a good thing, I think. I think it means they would blend quite well. And then highlight. haven't used this guy in a while. So we're going to go with the Essence Pure Nude. I've been seeing everybody post about the Pure Nude, I think they're Pure Nude, the Essence blushes that are like similar packaging. And I'm like, don't do it, don't buy it. But I'm tempted. I'm not going to lie. So hopefully you can see it. It's right there. It's definitely more of a natural type highlight. I was using it last year in my Project Pan, and I was like dusting it all over my face, which was probably a little excessive. But whatevs. Okay, so that is this drawer done. Let's move on to the eyeball drawer. This is what I'm calling the eyeball drawer. It's the eyes drawer because it's all like eye related products. We have mascara, we have brow products, we have liquid eyeliners and pencil eyeliners. I was thinking about this guy the other day. I don't know why, so we're gonna pull this. I don't know if I pulled this recently. I can't remember like the order that I pulled mascaras, and I'm trying to remember, did I put this in the Project Pan? No, I did not. I think it was this that was in the Project Pan, which is the Heimish. So this one might go in the Project Pan. I don't know. We're going to pull it anyway. I know I don't like it the way a lot of other people like it. Yeah, it does nothing for me. Brow product. What shall we go with? I've been feeling kind of lazy with brows. But I do like this. I do like doing the powder, so we're going to go with the Brow Gal powder. I really only use the one shade, this shade. While it looks fairly light in here, it's surprisingly, like, shows up pretty dark, I feel like, on my brows. And I like that it's cooler tone, so yeah, we're going to do that guy. I've had this for a long time. I don't have a date on it. I'm pretty sure I got this before I started my channel, so I've had this before 2018. But it's a last in product. It's called the Convertible Brow, and it's in 02. I'm assuming that means there's other shades. I got this in I want to say it was a BoxyCharm, not an Ipsy. Obviously years ago, because I haven't had that in at least a couple of years. Liquid eyeliners. We're getting to the stage of like, I can't use most of these because I need like a waterproof liquid liner in the summer. That's magnetic. I don't know if I'm going to pull any of these. I keep saying I'm going to play with this. I'm just like, I think I just mentioned I'm feeling pretty lazy lately, so I don't want to do this. This is that wing stamp thing, which, I don't know. I feel like it's way too big of a wing for me. Like, if you ever watch any of my videos, I do wear a wing eyeliner, which you probably can't even tell sometimes because I don't do a wing eyeliner every time, but I just don't do like a wing that extends out. I do it pretty small. Okay, I have at least 2 weeks with this stuff anyway, so I'm going to pull this out and then I'll pull the liner with it as well. This is the actual like liner that goes with it, which I don't mind this liner. I don't think it's waterproof though. It's very black though. It's a good liner. I have no idea if I'm in focus. Apologies if I'm not in focus. Sometimes the camera just wants to do its own little thing. And then another pencil liner, which we're kind of like down to bare bones here. And I have used some of these already. I should pull this blue one. It just feels a little too early. I feel like this is more of like a July thing for me. Oh, let's pull it. Let's just pull that one. I was going to pull that one and the purple one, but no. We're just going to pull this one, and if it's I'm not enjoying it, I'll pull the purple one. This is one that I could see myself potentially decluttering. This is like I think it's Lauren May talks about this. Lauren May Beauty's like fantasy self. Wearing a bright blue eyeliner is a fantasy thing for me, but on a day-to-day basis, oh, it needs sharpening too. It's a little bit dry. But on like a reality basis, I'm probably not going to wear that to work. And then I end up not wearing like, I like my makeup to kind of coordinate with what I'm wearing. And I don't really wear colors like that. Or like, I feel like it just wouldn't go with things that I wear. Anyway, I'm over-explaining. So we're just going to pull that and move on with our lives. And then the last drawer is what I call the face drawer. Okay, and then this is the face drawer. As you can see, it's fairly empty. I've actually already used this concealer, and this is a color corrector. So we only have one concealer left to pull. So it's the NYX Bear With Me Concealer. I think I do like this, but the problem for me is the shade is just a little too dark. I got the shade, I think it's just beige is the shade name for this one, and it's just a hair too dark. I think I need to go with what's like whatever the next one up from this is that's like a pinkier tone. Because that's my problem, is a lot of the cooler or the lighter tones end up being more yellow, and it's hard to find that like pink tone that's going to be light but not too light. I feel like there's always more yellowish tones than there are pink tones for concealers and foundations. Let's just do a swatch of this so you can see the shade. Apologies if the camera is moving. It's really high up and quite precarious where it is right now. I feel like it's going to fall, so I'm kind of holding on to it. But that's that. So you can see like on my hand, which has a slight tan, this is already like pretty, I don't want to say it's too dark, but it's like a hair dark for just my hand, and my face is a little bit lighter. And as a concealer, generally you want a concealer to be a little bit lighter. I don't like a concealer to be too light, but I do like it to be maybe a hair lighter than my foundation, or like the same tone. So that's that guy. And then again, I've gone through all the primers already. What do I feel like using? What do I feel like using? I don't even think I want to pull anything right now. I think I just want to keep using what I'm using that's in my project pan. You know, maybe I'll pull this because I like to mix this with my foundation. This is the Temp2 BoxyCharm, like, I don't know what they call it, Liquid Glow, but I don't know what was the intention of this. I think it might have been a highlighter, but I actually just use this and mix it with my foundation. I've had it forever, as you can see, 2017. That's actually prior to me starting my channel. I got this again in BoxyCharms. That's how I know when I got it. A lot of stuff that I got pre-January 2018 when I started my channel, I don't know exactly when I got it, unless there's some reason that I can like backtrack it, which BoxyCharm I was able to backtrack a few things. I'll do a little swatch of that guy too, just so you can see what it looks like. It's really pretty, but it's too dark for me to wear like as a highlight or as like a, I guess I could wear it as a primer, especially when I have like self-tanner on or like I'm tan, because my face is generally not as tanned as my body. Even though I do use face tanner, I use the Isle of Paradise drops in my foundation. Like if I self-tan my body, I will use that on my face, so I'm matchy-matchy. I don't have like a white face and a tanned body. But yeah, that's that. And then so for foundation, I talked about this. This is actually going to go in my project pan, so I don't really care to bother using that. And I'm going to pull this, even though I'm pretty sure these are definitely not the right shade for me. Again, this is a couple of those Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundations, and I will probably declutter these for these ones. I just don't see the reason to keep this particular shade, but I just want to try it just to make sure. Giving it a bit of a shake because it really separates. At least these little samples do. Oh yeah, like you can you can see in the swatch. This is what I mean by definitely this is too dark. It's obvious. Yeah. So you can even see that concealer doesn't look too bad, but then you see that foundation, you're like, oh yeah, that foundation is not the right shade, but it's also not dark enough. I don't think it's dark enough as like a bronzy contour. I guess I can try that, but it's also like super full coverage, so it's not something I'd want to use for that. I mean, yes, I can mix it with a lighter foundation. That's what I'm going to do when I'm playing with it over the next couple of weeks, but I already have enough foundations that I don't really need to keep those. And then a powder. I think I want to pull a loose powder. Again, I talked about this is the only one I haven't bothered using because maybe I'll pull this now. What I was going to do. So I had a theory. I had an idea. Because I just don't think this will ever be something I want to use on my face, because I just feel like when I powder, I don't want it to darken my foundation, and I feel like this will always darken my foundation. It's a powder foundation, but I'm probably never going to use it like that. Let me just swatch it so you can see it. And what is it, by the way? It's Nude by Nature's powder foundation in the shade Sand. So you can see on my wrist, like I have a bit of a tan going on now. This is real tan. And you can see that on my arm, this is too light, but my face, it won't be. And it's kind of yellowy. We'll give it a go. We'll see how things go. But what I was thinking about was taking some of this, because this is massive, the Photo Focus Translucent from Wet n Wild, and cutting some of this with some of that Nude by Nature. And that's how I can get some use out of that Nude by Nature. I also see myself mixing this with, I don't know where it is, the Marcel one. Where is the Marcel one? I must put it away. Because I have moved some stuff in here, moved some stuff back. Everything's sort of disorganized now because of filming the inventory videos and traveling and stuff. But the it's not Laura Marcel one that I have, it's a translucent powder. And it's supposed to be a bit glowy, but it's also a little bit dark. I feel like it deepens my foundation when I put it on. So I was thinking of cutting it with a little bit of this as well, seeing how that would go. So yeah, so that's this drawer. And next up, we're just going to pull eyeshadows. And I'm just going to do what I've done before, just so I don't have to move the camera any higher. I have these drawers up here. So there's this guy here. These are mostly the cream liquid ones that I have left. These are like the pencil-y ones. I have used some of these, and the loose powder ones. I'm going to pull 2 from here. And then these are just like pressed single package. This is a sharpener. I think it's from Nude Sticks. So I'm going to pull this guy. I like this one. It's really fun. And I think I'm going to pull this one. So this one, let me put this away. You would have seen last week that I threw that ColourPop. If you caught it, there's a ColourPop Jelly Matte shadow that I threw back because it's going to just go part of the declutter. But I want to make that declutter interesting because it's not going to be a whole lot. It's going to get decluttered, but I'm pretty sure it was fairly similar to this. This was the Ace Beauté. There's two of these that I got. Some people got the like purple and silver one. I got the brown and pinky one. I kind of liked all of the colors, so I'm not mad about which ones I got. But I think I liked these ones better. I'm not sure if I would use the other two a whole lot. But this is basically, I think, that shade. I did a video at some point comparing, because I did a video on that Carly Bible palette, and there was a shade in that Carly Bible palette that was similar to this too. It's also similar to the Orgasm Blush, so that's it right there. This is just more glittery. I don't know how well that's showing on camera. You can see the glitters or not. But it's that like pinky, peachy, goldeny color. It's really, really pretty. And then I really enjoyed this one. This one was a Top Box one. No, not Top Box. This one was an Ipsy one. And again, don't really love Ipsy. Get a lot of stuff I don't want to get. This was something I didn't really want. But I really enjoy this one. It's called, I want to say Aracelli. And the shade's called Tequila. Don't know anything about this brand. This is what it looks like. It's just like a champagne-y type color. But it's a great one and done type eyeshadow. So hopefully you can see it there. It's actually would be a nice highlight too, like with the tan. I feel like it's really blending in with my skin tone. It's right there. I'm wondering if I can put it somewhere else to like on a lighter part of my skin. So yeah, you can see it on my thumb there. So it looks a little bit different, a little bit deeper there. But it's just it's a beautiful kind of wet look type eyeshadow. It just works really, really well with my skin tone. I have pink undertones. I mean, this is a pink eyeshadow. You can see how well that looks with my skin tone. It's a clear example of I have pink undertones. But yeah, everything looks so color coordinating. I always enjoy doing the swatches and then seeing how things sort of line up. Everything just looks so good together. Okay, so that's all the picks. So I'll flip you around so you can kind of just see all the picks together and talk about a couple other things. And that'll wrap this video up. Okay, this is this week's picks. I feel like it looks like a lot because I have like an extra eyeliner because there's 2 of these and there's 2 foundations, but pretty happy about this. And I did pick 2 single eyeshadows because I think I was only picking 1 previous weeks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. There's definitely like some thinking that needs to happen with some of these products about thinking about keeping or like how I'm going to use them going forward. Eyeshadows I don't want to talk a whole lot about. I haven't been using much. I've been using the Celestial Storm palette, which I talked about in a previous video, I think. And I've also been playing with my singles, these singles in particularly. These ones, these are the Cleona ones. I'm not in focus, I apologize. Yeah, really enjoyed playing with these. I have a couple pulled out into like my magnetic palette. I have one that's pulled out into like a single shadow compact from Pure Nutta. So yeah, I've been kind of playing with these and my Project Pan shadow. I do have a new eyeshadow palette. yes, I bought one, and it's fairly new. Not even just new to me, but fairly new. So I don't want to show it right now because I actually want to do a video on it. I haven't even swatched it yet, but it looks beautiful. So I'm hoping to do a video on that. That should come soon. Yeah, so this series is going to wrap. I think what I'm going to do in 2 weeks' time, I hope, the plan is, I hope, is to do a declutter video. I'm hoping I don't miss that video. Things might kind of slow down a little bit in July. I might only do 1 video a week. I'm not really sure yet. I've been trying to do like 2 videos a week. But yeah, I just kind of, life is getting a little busy right now. So at some point, some things have to give. And unfortunately, my YouTube channel is one of the things I personally like to make a priority for myself. But balancing with the rest of the world and the rest of my life sometimes is just not possible. So anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.